Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थः प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ Namaste, welcome. So if your mati or intellect is with you, then last class we were talking about Na-tvam-sandhi, right? Na-tvam-sandhi and mati shabda. So we'll start with just chanting mati shabda, and then we'll jump to Na-tvam-sandhi, and then jump back to mati shabda. Okay, so that's the plan. Hopefully we have time for it all. But I know last time I think it felt a bit rushed with Na-tvam-sandhi, so I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with that before we move on. Okay. So actually, before we do that, let's chant our Maheshwara Sutra. Om A-I Un Rilik E-ong I-ouch Haya Varata Larn Ngama-gananam Jabhanga Ghadadash Jabagadash Kapachatata Chatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani. So now we're jumping into our Mati Shabda. Let's change it up. Let's pick another word from below. So we can pick Shakti. Keep us awake. So we need some Shakti. So Shakti, right? Okay, so ready? Shaktihi, Shakti, Shaktayaha. Shaktim, Shakti, Shaktihi. Shaktya, Shaktibhyam, Shaktibihi. Right? 4-1. Shaktiye or Shaktaye. Like Haraye. Right? Shaktibhyam, Shaktibhyaha. 5-1. Shaktyaha or Shaktehe. Shaktibhyam, Shaktibhyaha. Then almost the same thing. Shaktyaha, Shaktehe. Then 6-2. Shaktyoho, Shaktinam. 7-1. Shaktyam or Shakto, Shaktyoho, Shaktishu. He, Shakte, He, Shakti, He, Shaktayaha. Okay, so hope we're feeling okay with that. So there's a question in the chat about how to decide when there's two choices. So if you're writing in Sanskrit sentences, it's up to you. There's no preference. But more likely the case is going to be that the author has just chosen one and you need to be able to recognize both as being of Mati Shabda, if that makes sense. So because more likely or not, we're not writing Sanskrit shlokas, or I hope you are, I would love that. But more likely we're going to be reading Vedanta or Vedanta Bhashyam, the commentary, and then you'll see some of these forms, and then we should be able to trace them back to what is the case. We're going to switch over to Na-tvam-sandhi. So actually, if you can switch over your book to your Sandhi book, look in the index for Na-tvam-sandhi. This is what we were covering last time. And I'll pull that up on the screen here. So it looks like this. Na-tvam. So this is what we covered last time. So this is if you feel like you got it, then this is a review. I always suggest that we enter into what other traditions call beginner's mind. So even if you feel like knowing this, it's always good to review it and to be fresh with it. That's the quality of a shishya. So, right, this is Na-tvam-sandhi is when, right, nakara becomes nakara, murdhanya nakara. That happens, I'm going to go a little faster than we did last time. That happens when it's either immediately preceding, right? Or as we'll see below, there'll be a few things that can be in between. So that rasha can be immediately preceding, or essentially three things could be in the middle of the ra and sha, and then nakara. So what are those three things? We saw this in our last class, right? At, ku, pu. Then there is ang and num, but as I said, we don't see them as commonly. So that's why I'm just leaving that out for simplicity's sake. Okay, so we're going to play a little game, a Sanskrit game. I'm going to say na-tvam, and you say at-kupu. If I say at-kupu, then you say na-tvam. Okay? I wanna hide this so you can't see it, okay? Na-tvam. Na-tvam. At-kupu. Na-tvam. At-kupu. Na-tvam. 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 At-kupu. At-kupu. Na-tvam. I don't know if you got it or not, but now I hope these will be linked. And that rasha, we take for granted, that's in there as well. Okay. So how do we remember at-kupu? You play a little game. So what is at? We always want to remember Maheshwara Sutra. So conveniently always have it there for us. At is all of our vowels. And then how many letters? 4 more, right? So hayavara. All the vowels and hayavara. Okay, that's at. Ku, kim. What is ku? Yeah, I hope you're getting it. And you can get it before I come down. Yeah, okay. Ka, ka, ga, gha, nga. 5 letters. Let's start with ka. So ku, we add that u to denote that whole row of starting with ka in the alphabet. Okay, then pu. Pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. Okay, shall we play our game again? Okay. What are the letters in at? Vowels and hayavara. Okay. So vowels and hayavara are at. Okay, now ku is 5 letters. Make sure you get all 5. Ka, ka, ga, gha, nga. Okay, pu is pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. Okay, now I'm gonna say at kupu and you have to go fast in your head, okay? Okay, so what is ku? Okay, good. I hope so. What is pu? Papa baba ma. What is ku? Kaka gagana. What is at? Vowels, hayavarata. Not ta, but it just comes because we do the Maheshwara Sutra, right? Okay, what is pu? Paba baba ma. What is at? Vowels and hayavara. Okay. All right. So throughout this whole class, we'll be in Vedanta class. I'll say, what is ku? And you'll say, kaka gagana. Puja Swamiji is going to come and smack me on the head. We always want to remember that this change should not happen at the end of the pada. So the example for that was Raman. When we have Rama Shabda in 2-3, it becomes Raman, right? There's nothing after it. You said Virama. So, right, there's nothing after it, meaning that this na is at the end of the pada. So therefore, na will not get replaced by mordanya nakara. Okay, I hope that's getting more clear as we repeat it. So let's see some of our examples again. Okay, let's do guru. Oh gosh, do we remember guru shabda? Okay, feel free to open up your book. It's okay to look for it if you need. All right, so first let's just choose what is 3-1 of Guru Shabda. You can type it in the chat. I see there's some questions. I'll take questions after this. So what is 3-1 of Guru Shabda? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just chant the first 3 lines. Guruhu, Guru, Guravaha, Gurum, Guru, Gurun, Guruna, Gurubhyam, Gurubhihi, Gurave, ityadi, etc. Okay, so Guruna. Now, is that nakara murdanya nakara? Well, if you look at the book, yes, but Kim, why? Because let's do it, right? All right, so, oh, that is not a pen. This is Guru Na. I'm going to write it in Devanagari. I'm just going to write it with dental and then we'll change it. Okay, we'll see if dental becomes murdanya. Okay, so first thing we want to check is there a ra or sha? Ding, 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 ra or sha. Okay. Now, when I say na-tvam, you say at-kupu. Okay, now do we have at-kupu between the ra and the na? We have u in between. U is in at. It's a vowel, right? Because at is vowel plus hayavara. Hayavara. Okay. We do, so check and check. Now the third question is na at the end of the pada? Is na at the end of the pada? No, it's not, because there's still an a at the end. There's still an a at the end. So this is not correct. What we need to do is we need to put a dot here, and then if we want to write it in Devanagari, it's Guruna. Okay. All right, so it's preceded by ra. It's in the middle, there's at-kupu, and it's not at the end of the pada. Okay, let's stop here for some questions. I saw there were some questions earlier. So I think, Nilamaji, you have a question, and then I'll take up Krishna afterwards.
Okay, so two questions. One is in the word na-tvam. Tvam, you mentioned last time, gives a status, means giving status. And tvam also means you. Is that right? So how do you know?
Yeah, so tvam, the word, can mean you, but it's also a suffix that gets added to say the status of na, for example, or the status of, so mumukshutvam, we would say, the status of being a mumukshu, a seeker of knowledge. How do you know if it's one or the other? Usually it will make sense. You can tell by the context, right? So if it's mumukshutvam, we see that commonly. That's going to be, it means the status of a mumukshu. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for vagueness, right? That it could be tvam and it's just, there's no space put between the words. But I think usually it's clear. Usually it's quite clear.
And my second question was in that word Ramena. So it fulfills the criteria of ma, pu varga coming before and ra varga before that. But it's the end of the word. So does that qualify?
Yeah, so I'll go through that. I'm gonna put you on mute, okay?
Okay.
So this is Ramena. Do we have ra? We have ra preceding that nakara, yak, so correct. Now is at-kupu, right? Do we have at-kupu? This is a vowel, so that fits under at. Don't say that fits under ku, okay? It fits under at. Oops. This ma fits under papa baba ma, which is pu. I'll go slowly. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Right? This is pu. A is at. So meets the criteria so far. Now is na at the end of the word? Look at this. Is na at the end of the word? No, because there's a hidden akara. This is not Hindi, this is not Gujarati, there is an at the end. Those are the only two languages I'm familiar with in Indian languages, so that's why I mentioned those two.
So if it was ramen without an then it would not qualify.
Then it would not qualify.
Got it, thanks.
Yeah. So we need to then add a dot here. In transliteration, a dot underneath means murdanya. dot underneath. Or danya. Okay, so let's look at the Krishna example. You'll see on the right, we saw this last time. I'm going to erase some things. Oh, didn't mean to erase that. Okay. So we see Krishnena. So the question, the letter in question is this nakara. Okay, this is the nakara in question. Why? Because this is already murdhanya. Look at the word. This letter is already murdhanya. So we don't even need to worry about that nakara. Only one nakara in question is this one. Okay, preceding that nakara, is there a ra or sha? Yes, there is. There's a shakara, murdhanya shakara. You see here. Okay, so we do have a ra. Do we have a ra? We don't have a ra. This is a vowel. R, r, r. A vowel r and consonant ra are two different things. So that's confusing also. Especially, sometimes especially in Gujarat, we say Krishna, right? With Krishna with r vowel. Okay. All right. So yes, we do have a shakara preceding. Now we have to see everything before this nakara is an atkupu. Okay. So is murdhanya nakara atkupu? Is it at? At is what? Vowel plus hayavara. So no. Is it ku? Kukim. What is ku? Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. No. It is pu, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. No. So this does not meet the criteria. We do not have a at kupu throughout. We do have one of them. This is at, but it needs to be only at kupu in the middle between the rasha and the nakara in question. Since it does not meet that criteria, this nakara will stay dental nakara. Krishnena. It'll stay dental. It will not become murdhanya nakara. Okay. So there's some questions in the chat. I'll look at those now. So there's here also, technically na is not at the end of a pada. So we wouldn't, still there's akara at the end. So that criteria is fine. It's really that there's atkupu is not fully fulfilled. It doesn't need to be all of them. It just needs to be what is in the middle needs to fit into atkupu, any one of them or all three of them or etc. There's another question about tvam makes an abstract noun. Correct. Tvam makes an abstract noun. So when we say mumukshutvam, how we translate that, the abstract noun for that is the status. But yes, in English, what we call an abstract noun is correct with tvam. Another example of where na is at the end of a pada is gurun, as was pointed out in the chat. Gurun, right? So that nakara will not become murdhanya nakara. Because gurun, the na is at the end of the pada. Okay, tell me if I'm going too fast. I'm just going through what's in the chat here. When you talk of at the end, is it easier to think in terms of halanta or non-halanta? Yeah. Okay. So when we say halanta, halanta means consonant ending, right? So when we have consonant ending nakara, then this will not take place. So when it's halanta nakara, then this will not take place. If it's not halanta and there's an at the end or any other vowel or anything afterwards, really, then this can take place. Okay. So I see Harprasad ji has a question. Let's take that. And then I'll go to Urmila ji, what she wrote in the chat. So Harprasad ji, you can go ahead and.
Yeah. Maharaj, now I am confused about this. This change of na should not happen at the end of a pada. Now, just take gurun.
Yeah.
Now, gurun, the end of the pada in gurun is a nakara. That is tata dada na. Now, na is preceded by u, which is in the rule, and it's preceded by ra. So yes, it satisfied both of the rule, and that being the case, since it satisfies all the rule, why it is not gurun na? Na is a mudanya na.
Yes. So yeah. So there's a third hidden condition. Okay. So the first condition is ra or sha must precede.
Correct.
The second is atkupu. If there's something in between, then it should be atkupu.
Okay.
And the third rule is the na should not be at the end of the word. Here, the na is at the end of the word. Therefore, this rule does not take place.
No, when you say na, you are talking about a murdhanya
na. No, so if this na, if dental na, let's see if this works. Okay, it's not letting me. If that dental na is at the end of the word, this rule cannot take place.
Oh, okay. When the nakara, that is tata dada na,
yeah.
if that na is at the end of a word, these two rules are not applicable.
Yep. So if this one with teeth, this nakara is at the end, then this rule is not applicable.
Okay, I got it. So then why didn't the wording in the textbook is this this change of na should not happen at the end if the pada has an end of a nakara.
So here, this is the wording that I have in my textbook on the screen there. I don't know if it's different, but the change of na, so meaning na-tvam should not happen when there's a few words missing, really, when dental nakara is at the end of a pada.
Got it. Yeah.
So if it's, halanta nakara, if it's ending with that hal, that consonant nakara, then this rule does not apply.
Got it.
I think the thing that is throwing everybody off is the example where you show ra and na is at the end.
Yeah. Like
so we feel that, that's at the end of the word. It should be actually something, you put a dash or something after na.
Yeah. So it was there, but maybe let me write it more clear. So like Raman, and you see this is a virama. So that means there's nothing afterwards. So this na is at the end of the pada. Therefore,
it should not apply.
Not apply.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Sukumar.
No. What I meant was just go above and
Yeah,
that go right there. See where it says ana is arrow ana to na.
yeah.
Na
Here, this
halanta.
one.
Right. But then after na, at that na just below 6, there should be, you should just put some x, y, something, some dash, so that you know that that na is not at the end. Right now,
Yeah.
the example as it is given, we think, most of us think at least, is that this na halanta is at the end of the word. And then you say, well, it doesn't apply, then the confusion comes. So actually this na should be in the middle of the word, not at the end.
Yeah, so how she tried to designate that, I see what you're saying. I think it's a trouble with making this chart. What she tried to do is leave a little bit of space. And so that little bit of space is to indicate that there's something needs to be there. I get how that can be confusing. So usually it's a vowel that will come here. So that needs to be, something needs to come after that.
The other way to explain, you can fix it whichever way, or it's not up to you also. But that if the na halanta is just regular na, then also it will not have this confusion.
So the only reason I'm not doing that is because you can have other letters afterwards instead of just akara, like guru na, right? So there's akara. So then there becomes a little bit of variation there. So we can just put that there's a vowel generally afterwards. Okay. So hopefully this is more clear now. Spashta, clear? Okay, so again, there was a question about ramena. Here, same thing, it's just what we've been talking about. This nakara has an afterwards, right? So it meets all the criteria, right? So we have at, we have pu, we have at. So it meets all that requirement, and it's not at the end. There's an afterwards.
That was not my question. My question is you're referring to Ramena, the R-A-M-E, that E, that at, Ame, is there. You're saying that that's relevant there. It should be relevant in Krishnena also. The A, the E, that E.
It is.
So if that is so, then it should be Krishnena.
So I'll show you. So here is the ra or sha. So here we have shakara. Okay. Now this next letter is not at kupu. This one is at, correct? So the question is, why is it not? Because what is in between needs to be at kupu. If there's anything else, then this will not apply. We have someone who's infiltrated the system, someone who's gotten in who shouldn't be there. We only need between the rasha and the na, it has to be only at kupu.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's gonna, if you need, go ahead, Harprasad.
Maharaj, I think it will be much easier if we break down the word and see whether immediately preceding the atpupu, whether we have a rakara or a shakar.
Correct. Rakara and shakara is always the first thing.
Yeah. So with the rule, so the two rules you mentioned is
three rules.
Yeah, the three rules. When we break down that word, when we do the pada vibhaga, the first we'll see whether it is the dental nakara is immediately preceded by a rakara or a shakara, rule number one, or in between a rakara and a shakara and a dental na is the At-pupu is there. That is rule number 2. And at the third rule is a nakara is at the end of a pada.
If it's at the end of the pada, then
the whole thing is gone. Yeah.
The thing is cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm more comfortable this way. I don't even go into the English whatever the words are.
Yeah. Yeah. So that works.
Okay.
So there's different, I know different people learn in different ways. So saying it in a bunch of different ways. Hopefully we've gotten it now. Okay. So this will be our friend for a long time. So it's okay that we spend time with this. This is there. We've seen this since Rama, but we just haven't talked about it. This is why we haven't talked about it. It's a little bit complex, but we need to talk about it. It's going to be our friend. You'll see it for a long time. So if it's still confusing, then you have to review it, right? And this video will be there as well. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, so homework is what is on the screen. This exercise for ṇa-tvam. I would just do number 2. Yeah, you can do number 2. Just do 1 through 6. Okay, we haven't done 7 through 10. Yeah. Okay. So just do 1 through 6. They're all neuter words. Write them in 1-3, 3-1, and 6-3. And that's helpful. Then you can also learn at-kupu. If you have more time, then finish this exercise as well.